welcome to Banter Such. I'm Brando.
And I'm Owen.
And today we are talking about cozy movies!
Yes, it is finally the worst time of the year.
The best time!
December Spectacular.
Woohoo!
And we're going to be talking about the most cozy of cozy movies.
Oh, yes. And it's
you
just...
could cozy up to.
That's right, baby. It's just me and Owen, and we're about to get into some BS.
Bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chiming, jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh.
First off, I got to thank my friend Ricky Jab and Callie Rohde, because that fucking awesome song that y'all just listened to is a cover from them. Ricky is a great dude. He's like somewhat TikTok famous. Nice. And like Instagram famous because he's an amazing guitarist and he does covers. He does like metal covers and stuff like that. And like a week ago, he posted this video of him and Callie doing this song together. And I immediately just messaged it. It was like, dude, this song rocks. We're going into Jingle-cember for Banter and Such. Can we use it? And he's like, yeah, here you go. I was like, oh, sweet.
That's awesome.
So Ricky, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Also, everybody check out the Helios Network. There we go. It's exciting. Check out the HeliosNetwork.com because we got some pretty cool merch up there. We got our Wasted Truth stickers. We got our pins, our Owen and Brando pins. We got our Wasted Truth shirts.
Yes.
And we have other stickers too. We have Banter and Such stickers.
And then we're going to be getting some merch from Master and Debaters and All Be Careful, You'll Be Dead. That will be going up there.
Yes. Also, and speaking of shows that haven't officially launched yet, is we have those shows linked up there. So you can go and check them out, and you can actually listen to them also.
If you're listening to this episode, the day it comes out, the next day, Thursday, All Be Careful, You'll Be Dead will be launking.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, everybody's gonna love
then
this.
the next Monday will be Master and Debaters.
Oh my gosh, this is
maybe this is the best time of the year.
We're giving everyone Christmas presents here. When you're with your family and you can drink and listen to our shows.
Yes, 100%. We're a family friendly network. We've never talked about like dildos or pasties.
I mean, I mean when you want to get away from your family, you've traveled, you got off your flight, you're stuck in your parents' house, and you just pop in those earbuds and listen to some podcasts.
Yeah, and now starting next week, we'll have a Helios Network show every day of the week besides Friday.
What?
Yeah, Mondays Master and Debaters, Tuesdays Wasted Truth, Wednesdays us, Thursdays All Be Careful, You'll Be Dead.
Oh my gosh, we got to get a Friday show.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways,
your part.
If you want to check out and help the show notes has our Patreon as well as a link to the website. Our Patreon's great because it gets you access to bonus banter, discounts on merch. You get to vote for episode topics, things like that. And you get to connect with Brando and I on a more intimate level.
Yes, we have sex with you.
Yeah.
If you subscribe to our Patreon, we will.
It's not OnlyFans, Brando. So, but yeah, it's a great way. It helps us. We take all the money that comes in from that and we pump it back into the Helios Network and allows us to do even more dope shit.
Yes,
because our lives are dope and we do dope shit.
Oh, that's my little
stamp. Yeah.
Well, we're getting into the topic today, and I feel like we got to explain it.
Yeah, Brando.
It was a little bit my idea, and okay, so it's my idea, and I made the list.
Yes,
and there's a reason why I'm saying that, not because I'm trying to like say, "Hey, look at me," but because I want to absolve Owen of all responsibility because he does not agree with anything that we're doing today.
No, but as well as a Grinch, I'm okay with this. So, I am the Helios Network Grinch. I don't like Christmas. At Christmas time, I'm actually not that big of a fan of like Christmas movies or songs.
Yeah.
Or just cheer in general.
Just happiness.
Yeah. Fuck you and your happiness.
You know what happened to the Grinch at the end of that movie, though?
No. I'm like the real Grinch. There's nothing inside me.
The real world inspiration Grinch that just ends.
Yeah, I'm Kanye.
So the thinking behind this episode, we're doing the Jingle Simber Spectacular, and I wanted to do shows instead of just doing like, hey, let's just talk about Christmas movies. I'm like, let's talk about the spirit of Christmas. Like, what makes Christmas so good? Why do I love Christmas so much? Like, what are the elements of Christmas that are so wonderful? And the first one that came to mind is that Christmas is like the coziest holiday that there is. It's so cozy. It's just like at that time of year, you want to make a fire, get bundled up, drink warm, cocoa, everything. And even the Christmas lights are very cozy, being with family, not going to work, not having to stress about stuff.
None of that sounds appealing to me.
But the thinking was like, instead of just thinking what are just Christmas movies, what are movies that represent the spirit of coziness?
Yeah, so we're not going to be talking about any Christmas movies today.
No, although, little known fact, all three of these movies do take place during Christmas. And I didn't know that until after I watched the movies. Like, I was taking notes and everything. I was like, look at that. I chose these movies because they were cozy.
Okay.
Not because that they're Christmas movies.
Interesting. And
they just happen to take place
Brando,
during Christmas.
what are the 3 movies today?
Oh, well, I'm not going to give the list up front. We'll just go through it, all right?
Okay.
But we will say, because Owen... we'll get to it.
We're going to get to one of these movies.
Yeah, we're going to have a fun time.
It's going to be about 30 seconds long, and then we're going to move on.
So when I'm thinking about, like, what are the coziest movies ever, they just make you feel super chill, super relaxed. My number 3 coziest movie ever is Hook.
And honestly, I'm right there with you on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Hook, but I need to watch it more.
Yeah.
Like, I maybe watch Hook once every 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
And
I'm the same way.
every single time I watch it, I'm like, this movie is so good.
Yeah.
And why is this not in like the yearly rotation?
It just makes you feel good when you're watching this movie. There's just something about it that gives you the warm and fuzzies. I mean, it's just so wholesome and it's so positive and it just feels good watching. And I'm the same way. I watched it when I was watching it the other day. I was like, man, I haven't seen this movie in years.
And this movie is just so...
I don't have friends. I got family.
So family oriented, which is great. So if you don't know, 1991 Hook, it's Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, it's one of the most unlikely duos, but it works so well. And basically what it is Robin Williams plays Peter and he is Peter Pan, but Peter Pan he's grown up.
Yeah. It's a sequel to the Peter Pan stories.
And he's old and he has a family and he's a dick. He's a lawyer that doesn't go to his son's games, doesn't care about his family, like misses everything. He thinks he's a good person, but he's not.
Yeah.
And he's forgotten all about Neverland.
Yeah, that juxtaposition between childhood and adulthood.
Yeah.
Like, childhood is a place of wonder and a place of imagination. And adulthood it's boring. It's about stress and about work. And, the way they juxtapose that in the movie. And Peter forgot, and he's a grumpy person. He's a
Grinch.
Yeah, he is. He starts out as Owen and he ends up as Brando.
I wouldn't give you that much credit.
But I mean, the concept is so cool. Like, what a brilliant idea to like, hey, let's make a sequel when Peter Pan is all grown up. Because Peter Pan is the epitome of childhood and all of the positive aspects of childhood. What happens if he grows up and forgets?
Yeah.
And so he goes back. This movie should have been bad. Like, it's like... It's if you were to describe this movie like, hey, we're going to make a sequel to the beloved Peter Pan story.
And he's a dick.
And you're hearing this and you're like, no, there's no way this movie's going to work. But then you sit down and watch it and you're like, oh my gosh, it feels good, man.
Dude, and honestly, that's one of the things when it's like he finally gets to Neverland, Captain Hook comes back, kidnaps his kids, so he has to go back to Neverland, but he doesn't believe in any of this and yada, yada, yada. But he has to learn to become Peter Pan again. And let me tell you, that journey, the moment like he gets to Neverland.
Yeah.
And he's starting to train. He's like, think happy thoughts. How do I fly? How do I eat imaginary
he's
food?
trying, but he's cynical.
He's so upset and cynical.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me, but his transformation makes me want to be a better person.
Yes.
Like, one of the things for me is, I try to hold on to as much of the child like bewilderment, the wonderment, right? Like everything is amazing and awesome. Like that child mentality. I try to hold on to that as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I know like I joke about being a Grinch a little bit and stuff like this, but it's like when it comes to like seeing new things or experiencing things, I try to go at it like how a kid, like a 6 or 8 year old kid would be like, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah. Right? And every single time I watch this movie, like, it just instills that back into me a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we're joking about the Christmas thing, but in all seriousness, you are a very positive person.
I try, yeah.
But that's true. That's the thing about this movie is that it is that reminder. I think that's one of the things that's so cozy about it. It's like that reminder to like, man, just take it all in, man.
Yeah.
Just appreciate it. Like into adulthood is when we understand the grittiness of life in the world. And that's true. We don't want to be naive or try to make believe that bad things don't exist in life. But, watching this movie, the coziest thing about it is like, man, there are good things too.
Yeah.
There's still warmth, there's still friendship, there's still love, there's still beauty, there's still creativity and imagination and all the wonderful things. And it's like, dude, take that all in and how I want to embrace more of that. It does, like you said, it's like it makes me want to be a better person.
And I mean, even, with how he like when he finally comes back and he's like, Neverland is that like world between like dreams and reality, like right after you wake up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's true. Like when I dream, I'm like, shit can be pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, but like trying to go into it, and keep that mentality is what's great. And that's why I think this movie is so cozy, because it's like, I do want to bundle up with somebody, like, drink that like mulled wine, that hot cocoa, or some, Jägermeister, who, whatever.
Sure.
I'm not picky. And like, just watch this movie and at the end of it, just like look at my significant other and just be like, you're so amazing. And like, I worship you like an 8-year-old like worships like his first crush.
Yeah.
And that's what's cozy about this movie. It makes me want to do that.
And of course, me watching it with my little girls, and they're watching it for the adventure and the fantasy of it. But that whole theme of like the dad going and trying to rescue his kids from the pirates, and the kids become like pirates are trying to make the kids jaded and cynical. And the son has got that, and then you think of like, oh, all these places I failed as a parent. And because I get caught up in these other things that take my attention, but I want to remember that I have these wonderful kids and I love them so much. And that's such a beautiful thing. And I'm feeling the same thing that Peter Pan is feeling. I'm just like, oh, these are my girls. And we're watching this movie together and we're just sharing this moment. What a beautiful, wonderful thing that is,
Dude, And that reminds me of the scene, we talked about it on the Groundhog's Day episode, but in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Where Andy Samberg eventually goes to Tenzin from Avatar. What's his name?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. He goes to his house, and J.K. Simmons has to have that reality. He's living the same day over and over again, but he has like these two kids, and he's like thinking about like it's just a great day, and like he's like, yeah, it sucks. I'll never be able to walk my child down the aisle because I'm stuck living the same day. But it's like I gotta just enjoy this because I have this moment with my kid.
Yeah, just exist in this moment. And that's the thing. It's like these other things, the negative things also exist, but sometimes you just got to stop and pause and exist in the good stuff. And that's what coziness is. Coziness is saying, you know what? I do have to go to work, but not today. Right now, I'm lighting a candle and putting on some thick woolly socks, and I'm listening to some soft music, and I'm turning the lights down low, and I'm just chilling. And in this moment right now, I'm at peace. That's the essence of coziness. And I think this movie is just full of that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about like heartwarming movies, and that's a little bit different, but cozy is just like, it just makes you feel like you're home. Like it's like a good moment, right?
Yeah. Well, I had a few specific things too of like what made me feel cozy about this movie.
Ooh, all right, I got a couple too.
Yeah, so it starts off in this snowy London beginning, and they're in these like brownstone kind of houses, and just the snow and the sun. It's Christmas time in this movie, and the way it's lit is very warm and cozy. So just the whole opening scene, the whole like opening act is just so cozy. The Lost Boys hideout is so cozy because you're like in these little tree holes and these little hammocks, you have all these little fun things. And when they go to sleep and they're all saying goodnight to each other, and the Pirate Cove, even the Pirate Cove, which is on a stage set. But it feels like a cute little Disney village, even though they're the pirates, they're the villains. it's still they didn't make it gross. You know what I mean? They made it cute. And just like Neverland as a whole, there's one scene in particular where Peter climbs up a mountain and he looks out at Neverland,
and it's gorgeous.
It's fantasy. It's just nice, and there's a rainbow and there's a mermaid over there. And it's like
the topless mermaids made me feel really.
I was really surprised.
Cozy.
I was surprised that they had the topless mermaids in this movie. I was like, wow, those are the movies from the early 90s.
Yeah,
80s,
no joke, right?
Yeah, it's a family movies.
Yeah.
You gotta have that one scene.
Like my thing is funny is I was watching it yesterday. And it was right before Masters and Debaters was recording, so I was watching it, and Puck walked in, and he walked in right at the imaginary food scene.
Yeah,
and I was like, we were like watching it, like Puck and I were just cracking up, watching it, and then finally, Robin Williams, Peter Pan, it's working, right? Like he sees the imaginary food,
yes,
and like goes by, and it's all these like bright, vibrant colors, and Puck just like looks over at me and goes, man, none of that food looks appetizing. I go, you're right. But if I was a kid, like all that was, it's just frosting, right? Like it was just cake frosting
pastries
everywhere.
And cake
frosting.
And,
So it's like, yeah, of course, to us as adults, you're like, okay, like let's think about the pyramid food scale and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's going to make me feel bloated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to give me the runs. Like I'm just going to have an upset stomach from drinking or from eating that much sugar and like all this stuff back and forth. And now it's just like, I'm like, yeah, but if I was a kid, like that would be the coziest, like at home. Like if I came home from school and it's just pastries and cake frosting. Yeah. I'm like, if my mom made that for me, like this is great. Thank you, Mom. High five.
Plus, that's the pivotal scene. That's when he finally starts to believe and imagine with them and pretend. That was his thing. He had to pretend with them when he scoops that empty bowl and he goes, "Hey, Rufio," and then then that hits him in the face. I don't know if it was ice cream or mashed potatoes or what. It was some weird colored stuff. But like it like
unicorn jizz.
Yes, that must have been what it was. And
it's high in protein.
That's what he imagined. And
I love how Brando's here trying to have this like intimate moment with me, and I'm doing whatever I can to ruin it.
You know what we need to talk about too is Rufio. Oh my gosh, dude. What a great character. This shouldn't work.
No.
You should not take a beloved story and you add your own character to it. We always hate that.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like, dude, Rufio is the coolest.
Dude, everybody wanted to be Rufio as a kid.
Yes.
Yeah, with his skunk level hair. I love
it. And he comes in skateboarding. And he's wearing that like Mad Max like armor looking stuff.
And so this is you bring that up, and it's Rufio actually delivers a great line. It's his last line in the movie before he dies. He goes, I want a dad. I wanted a dad. I wish I had a dad.
Yeah.
And like that created an interesting theory. Have you heard about the theory that Peter Pan is the bad guy in all the Peter Pan movies?
What? No.
Yeah. So the theory is because Peter Pan is like keeping these kids young, so they can't grow up. They can't experience life at its fullest.
In Neverland,
they don't grow up. And Captain Hook is the one that's trying to save them. And at least let them experience life and growing up. So it's like there is this interesting thing. So like Rufio in his last moments, where like the Lost Boys is all about like, hey, no parents never growing up. In his last moments, what did he wanted a family, he wanted a father.
Yeah. That's really dark, dude.
Yeah.
You've just fucking ruined it.
Dude, there's nothing more cozy than the darkness.
So there's some
nice cold embrace.
There's some fun behind the scenes stuff to this movie too.
Oh, there's a shit ton.
You know, I like the behind the scenes stuff. So my favorite though, was originally Steven Spielberg offered the role of Robin Hood of Peter Pan, not Robin Hood, Peter Pan to Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
and Michael Jackson
would have been a.
Yeah, he's got the whole place called Neverland and all that stuff. You know?
Yeah, that would have had to be streamed on Pornhub or something.
True crime thing on Netflix.
Also, yeah.
So he offered, and so Michael Jackson didn't want it because Peter Pan was an adult.
Yeah.
And Spielberg was like, yeah, but you're an adult, Michael. And he's like, no, Peter Pan should be a kid.
Peter Pan's a kid.
And Spielberg was like, well, what if we do it as an adult? And since you're an adult, we just do it that. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. And so apparently, like, they were actually friends before this. Spielberg and Michael Jackson were actual friends. And they broke up after because of this.
Oh, wow.
Because he cast Robin Williams instead.
One of my favorite things behind the scenes is, do you know what actress had and this wasn't a trivia question.
This is
one
of my trivia
is
questions.
it?
Yeah, it is. And I know the answer to it.
Sorry, Brando.
Go ahead and say it.
But Brando, what famous actress got like the last pass through on the script?
Oh, wait, they got the last pass through?
Yeah, like edited, like got the script and was like the last one to do some editing.
Oh, this was a different thing. Okay. No, so this wasn't one of my trivia.
Okay.
But I do know who it was. It was Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
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 And I don't know why. I guess she was writing stuff. I didn't know she was writing.
Yeah, so I didn't realize this, and that
So Carrie Fisher who plays Princess Leia.
Princess Leia, yeah. She did a lot of like script editing, even for Star Wars. Like apparently George Lucas like let her do some like script editing as well.
That's awesome.
And she, if you go through her IMDb and go to like, I don't think it really shows as much as like through the rabbit hole of like Reddit and stuff like that. I got to see like all these movies and a lot of George Lucas movies where Carrie Fisher like just got to do like some editing for him.
That's awesome,
but
man.
never got credited because she didn't write it. She just kind of like gave some pointers.
She was responsible for one specific line in this movie, and I can't remember what it was, but it was really fantastic because that's how I remember that. I was like, "What, Carrie Fisher?"
I think it's a tear for every happy thought. I think it was hers.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is one of the last lines of Peter Pan says, and that's when the family goes, "Oh, it's a tear for me. It's a tear for me," and it's like, "Oh." Yeah. So cute.
But unfortunately, Spielberg apparently was embarrassed by this movie. He hated it. He didn't like it. And do you know this movie has bad reviews? Like if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, like it's pretty low. Like Siskel and Ebert hated it. And apparently Steven Spielberg was all embarrassed by it. He was like, "Oh, that was one movie I didn't do well."
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's fucking great. And I think it's a generational thing. I think if you were an adult sitting down and watching this movie for the first time and you're like, "Oh, this is dumb."
I remember as a kid watching this movie. And even now, like I'm watching it and I don't know how they did some of the special effects.
Yes, that's another thing. There's so many miniatures and models and matte paintings.
Even with like Robin Williams on wires flying around, I'm like, dude, like this is really good stuff.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
And this came out 8 years before The Matrix.
Yeah.
And The Matrix like had a lot of wire foo like this did. And like some of those scenes, man, it's unbelievable that they were able to pull off what they did.
Yeah, and it's just fun, man. It's just
and this is before
great.
CGI.
Yeah.
Like primarily a lot of CGI. So.
It's just fantastic. And the thing is I did read about the Spielberg thing too was that he went back later on after Robin Williams died. And like
he couldn't finish it.
Had this new appreciation for it and stuff.
Yeah, he said he couldn't finish the movie though.
Which I think is beautiful because I'm like, now you're seeing what we saw, Spielberg. You're like when we were kids watching it, we were like, dude, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
And was this the start of Robin Williams being a kid actor? Not an actor for like family actor, right? Like, because if you think before this, there was a lot of, he was really well known for like cussing and like his stand-up
is really dirty.
And being a little bit more raunchy and stuff like that. Was like this the start? Because
I know he did Mork and Mindy on TV.
Mork and Mindy.
That was kind of a
then I mean, he goes into being the genie in Aladdin right after this.
Was it right after
and
this?
then like Patch Adams,
Mrs. Doubtfire,
Flubber. Yeah. So maybe,
dude, that's the thing. Robin Williams is like, he was the actor comedian of the 90s. Like I remember just when I was a kid watching Robin, like he was so, I loved him, man. Every movie he was in was so funny. It was like, you look up to him, you're like, he was a hero. He was a good guy. It's like, oh man, his passing really was the very first, I think, celebrity death that like actually super bummed me out. I was like, dude, this sucks.
That one hurt, but like I was saying in a couple episodes ago for Kevin Conroy, that's the first one I've ever cried at.
Yeah.
But Robin Williams was definitely one that hurt.
Yeah.
So.
But it's a beautiful movie.
It's a great
cozy.
movie. I mean,
everyone should check it out, man.
Yeah,
if you've never seen it, you're in for a treat.
Oh, 100% you are. So, Brandon, before we move on to the next movie, from 1 cozy to 10 cozies, how many cozies would you give Hook?
Well, I only work in a
1 cozy to 5 cozies. How many cozies would you cozy up?
I would give this a 4 cozies. 4 out of 5 cozies.
Yeah, I think 4 out of 5 is where I'd give this one too.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, so this next movie I want to introduce because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of the best movies of all time. Yeah.
And every single time we have done a top 3 favorite movies of all time, this movie has almost made the list.
This drove me crazy because I was like, I'm certain we talked about this movie.
We
before.
have not talked about this movie.
I actually went through our old episodes and I was like trying to hear if we did, and we haven't.
The first episode ever of Banter Such.
Yeah.
I talked about Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
I did mention that Princess Bride was the other one that I wanted to do.
And number 2
is Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Woo! Cheers to that, Princess Bride.
It is such a wonderfully cozy movie. It's such a great movie in every way.
We're gonna do another episode, because I want to spend a lot more time. I think we could do a whole episode on Princess Bride.
I'm down for that. I just want to talk about it today.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it today for sure.
If you're like, let's just move on.
Yeah, but I don't know if there was ever a movie in my youth that was more pivotal and more influential to me than Princess Bride.
Really? Were you like a little kid when you saw this?
Oh, yeah. I remember in maybe like 2nd or 3rd grade, I want to say. So like early elementary, I remember watching this movie and just falling in love with it.
Really?
Because this is how you do an adventure movie.
Yes. It's a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It's adventure. It's comedy. It's action. It's a really good romance love story, which is why it fits into this cozy element that we're talking about
It's
today.
literally all of those things.
And it doesn't skimp or cheap on any of those elements.
Nope.
If I went to somebody and says, hey, what genre is Princess Bride? And I went to 10 different people and all 10 people gave me a different genre,
Yes.
I would agree with them.
Yes.
Because it's not just one.
Yes.
It's perfectly the culmination of every single style of genre cinema.
Every moment.
Even noir. Even horror.
There's that noir detective
Yeah,
scene that comes out of nowhere. in
Yeah,
Princess Bride, where he's smoking a cigarette over a corpse.
Yeah, there was a battle between 2 great warriors here. Yeah, Humperdinck is a detective.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so cozy. And every single moment and every single line in this movie is so intentional. It's just everything. There's no wasted moment in this movie. And generally, just for if there's anyone who, I wanted to say this too, because you said you saw it as a little kid.
Yeah.
Here's what's weird. I did not see this movie until I was in like high school.
Oh man.
I was at like church youth group lock-in or something. We were with a bunch of people hanging out, having fun, one of those all-nighters. And at one point in the night, someone put this movie on a big screen. And everyone was like, "Oh, I love this movie!" Like literally everyone was like, "This is the greatest movie ever!" And I was so confused because I was like, "I have no idea what this movie is. I never saw it. I'd never even heard of it. I was like 17 at the time. I was like, "What is this?" I don't know why I had never been exposed to this movie in any way.
That's crazy.
I said, a 17-year-old teenage boy sat down and watched this movie from start to finish. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. This was so much fun.
All right, let me ask you a question about this movie, Brando. If you could cut out one scene in the movie, what scene would it be?
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
There's nothing. Yeah.
It is a perfect movie.
Every moment is funny. Every line is good. Everything matters. Everything. So the story is, that's what I was going to say. The story is essentially, it's just this great fairy tale story where there's a girl from a village who falls in love with the farm boy. The farm boy is out traveling and then is supposedly killed by the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Because he's a peasant to her.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to go out and get money in order to marry you.
Yeah.
And be able to provide.
And he doesn't come back.
And he never comes back.
And so years go by. The king or the prince of the land says he wants to marry her. And so he's going to force this marriage. Meanwhile, these 3 criminals kidnap her. And the 3 criminals are wonderful. They're like every line of dialogue they say is hilarious.
Inigo Montoya, Vicini, and Fezzik.
Yes, yes. And they kidnap her because they want to kill her and start a war between these 2 kingdoms. But the Dread Pirate Roberts, who killed her love, comes back. You find out that is her love. That's Wesley the farm boy. He's grown up at the Dread Pirate Roberts now. He rescues her, but then that's the thing. That's why it puts his twist, because it's not just straightforward. But then he gets killed.
Yes.
And then his former enemies, the criminals, rescue him.
Resurrect him.
And they break into the castle, defeat the prince, and save...
Yeah, because the prince was the big bad evil guy all along.
He was the evil guy the whole time. And they save his love at the end of the movie. It's
marriage.
It's so good. Marriage.
What we are gathered here for.
Love.
Today.
True love. That's another thing, is this movie is...
the most quotable movie of all time.
Oh, we've talked about quotable movies before, but this one takes a cake, man. I just you can't inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Yeah. Never go against a Sicilian, especially when death is on the line.
You forgot the number 1 rule. Don't do a land war in Asia. But the number 2 rule.
Damn it. That was one of my trivia questions.
Yeah, was
it? Yeah.
I've since seen this movie so many times.
It was going to be the, he says famously, what's only a little less known is never, go against a ceiling, especially when death is on the line. What's the most common phrase?
The number 1 rule.
Is never get into a land war in Asia.
Dude, I was watching this today with my daughters, and
I was about to ask you about that. Have you watched it? Have you?
Yes, it was magical. So we've seen it before, but it was like a couple years ago, and so my kids are at that age where they forget stuff. Their memory doesn't last more than like 6 weeks, and so
unless it's something terrible, and then they remember it forever.
Yeah, then they're traumatized forever. Yeah, no, and so we sat down. They were like, you should have seen them. I should have taken a picture. I mean, they were like glued, eyeballs glued to the screen, man.
Because from the get-go, like the premise is, Fred Savage and Columbo, Columbo's his grandpa.
Oh, yeah, the framing device.
Is reading Fred Savage, who's a kid, the story, The Princess Bride.
Which is a real book.
Yeah. And so he ends up, and then they animate it, or not really animate, but they go to it and show it. But dude, like even in that framing and how they break the moments of tension to still make it somewhat of a kid movie, like with the screeching eels coming by, and it stops and it goes back to Columbo and Fred Savage.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, like she survives, Like that's a great way to break the tension.
Yeah.
But still make it fun.
Yeah.
And kid friendly. Like MCU, learn how to break tension better. And this is a great example.
In a natural way that doesn't interrupt.
Yeah.
It flows perfectly.
As well, this movie, this is a hill I will die on. Mm-hmm. And Brando, if you can prove me wrong, I'll die right now. Name me a better sword fighting action scene than the first duel between Wesley and Inigo Montoya.
That's true.
I truly believe that this is the best.
Oh, okay. In all seriousness, that's
duel.
A good question.
Yeah, I'm not being facetious. I'm actually being true right now.
Okay, so Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace with Darth Maul, that would be up there with it. I don't know if it'd be better.
Yeah.
That was a great sword duel.
Yeah, okay. So I will say, I'm talking like straight sword duel.
Yeah.
There's still like force powers and some other cool stuff, which is great. But I'm talking like straight swords.
I mean, what would it be? I mean,
I really
don't have
know.
a ton of great ones.
I mean, so they actually, funny enough, they had the guy named Ando something, and he was a famous sword fighter, and he was a choreographer for the original Star Wars trilogy, and he came in and choreographed the fight scene.
Really?
In this one, yeah. In Princess Bride. And know what's crazy? This is almost another trivia question of mine. But do you know that Carrie Ewells and Mandy Patinkin, who plays Inigo Montoya and Wesley respectively, they did like almost every single thing in that fight scene.
Yeah, I did know that because apparently they trained on it like that
for
scene.
Months.
It's a long scene too.
Yeah.
And they trained for months so
and
they
10 seconds is how long that fight scene is.
And you can tell. I mean, you're watching them and they're doing flips and stuff and they're switching hands and everything. It's actually like super impressive.
And it actually said in an interview, the sword choreographer Ando said that Carrie Ewells is one of the most naturally talented fencers he's ever taught. Yeah.
See, and you can tell too. I mean, when you're watching movies, you can tell when they cut. And
to hide the stunt double, which I'm okay with,
or to hide their lack of skill. And this movie just lingers on it, and they have it is a legitimately good, and it's like a kid's movie. This is like a kid's fairy tale, and you're like, this is an awesome sword fight,
and it's great because of that, right? There's no quick cuts, like the scene lingers, so you can see the action, and they're talking, they're bantering, back and forth as they're fighting one another. I'm like, dude, like. That scene alone makes the movie. If the rest of the movie was shit, that scene alone would make up for it.
Well, what's funny too, what I think is one of the coziness is that it's so innocent. This movie has such an innocent tone, and it's the embodiment of innocence. But every single character is so polite to each other.
Yeah.
Even when they're enemies and trying to kill each other. Like especially the Inigo Montoya scene.
Or even with Fezzik.
Yeah. And they respect each other's rules, and even when the enemies become their allies and stuff, there's something about it's almost as if like a little kid was playing with toys, or like little kids were like acting out a scene.
Oh, 100%.
That's how they would be like, hey, if you throw down the rope, well, then you'll probably cut the rope and I'll fall. Well, I promise I won't cut the rope. Okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
And he throws down the rope.
What if I give you my word as a Spaniard? Nah, I've known too many Spaniards.
there's so many lines like that just zip by so. You have to pay attention to this movie.
Then why
there's a one line of that it'll crack you up, man.
I have to admit, you're a better swordsman than me. Then why are you smiling? Because I know something that you don't. What is that? I'm not left-handed.
Then they go for another 5 minutes. It's like, I'm not left-handed either. It switches. Oh my god!
And as well with this movie, I know we're continuing gushing on it, and we are going to do an episode on this. But one of the last things I want to say is this movie as well does a really great job of writing story and giving you little bits of foreshadowing for what's to come.
Yes,
like Inigo Montoya and Wesley. He's like, oh yeah, my father was killed by a six-fingered man, and gives you this.
Yeah.
There's no context to it, and then a couple minutes later, what do you see? A six-fingered man. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, like it is able to take these like little beats and move the story and twist the plot lines together to where it's like, hey, you like, it kind of looks like there might be like 18 different story like lines going on right now, but they twist it together and it's like, oh, now we have one cohesive storyline.
It's a perfectly tight, succinct. It's just perfect in story, and it's all these actors, tons of famous actors who are like at the top of their game. You got Billy Crystal and the wife. I can't remember the actress's name.
Robin White. Oh no, the actress.
Yeah, Robin White. Which, by the way, I didn't realize until later on that she's the wife from House of Cards.
Yes, yeah, and then
and she's a cold, evil person.
Dude, Robin White. I don't know if she's won an Emmy
she's
or anything.
Fantastic.
She deserves it if she hasn't.
Because in this movie, she's so warm and kind and loving. It's just...
and then the wife that you're talking about is Carol Kane.
Yes, Carol Kane. Yeah,
who was the ghost of future.
Christmas Future or something?
Christmas Present.
And Scrooge?
In Scrooge.
Yeah. So I wanted to share this story. This is a behind-the-scenes story, and I wanted to read it because someone recounted this story online. Someone who was in the production who was filming this movie, and it's about Andre the Giant. Okay? Because we haven't even mentioned him, but Andre the Giant is in this movie too.
Dude.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So here's Carrie Elwes, who...
Yules?
Yeah,
Yules. Carrie Yules.
Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Well, this is him recounting this story, okay? You ready for this? According to Carrie Yules, on the first day of filming, the scene where Inigo, Fezzik, and the mostly dead Wesley are on the parapet planning to storm the castle, director Rob Reiner said, let's film the rehearsal and see what happens. Right after Fezzik said the line, I guess not very long, Andre the Giant let out an incredible fart that lasted at least 16 seconds by one count. The noise of it was so loud that it shook the plywood set of the parapet and made the sound engineer take off his headphones. During this, Carrie Yules looked over at Andre and swears he saw steam rising from his head. After it was all over, a stunned silence came over the entire area. The director recovered from this and asked, "Hey, Andre, are you okay?" To which Andre replied, "I am now, boss."
I love that story. And it's funny because I read another story about Andre in this where he tried to call everybody boss.
Yeah.
Because it was his way of like trying to be equals with people.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, because he was a huge dude.
Yeah.
And so like people would be kind of like intimidated by him. So he's like, hey, if this huge dude is referring to you as boss, like, okay, like that's his way of like trying to be more friendly and not so terrifying.
And he's so adorable in this movie too.
Anybody want a peanut?
He's like when he's on the parapet and Wesley's mostly dead. And he's like, "Hey, you just shook your head. Aren't you happy about that?"
And he just like rolls over. I'm a quick healer.
They have 30 minutes to go rescue the princess, and like he's just like so encouraging.
I have come for your soul.
I am the Red Pirate Robbers.
But we have to talk about the most coziest scene of all is towards the end when Inigo Montoya finally gets to kill Count Rugen and just like stares at him, stabs him right in the stomach with his rapier and goes, "I want my father, you son of a bitch."
Dude, those stabs are actually like hard to watch.
Yeah.
They're like, because those are, you're watching, you're like, ugh, because he stabs him in each shoulder.
Mm-hmm. He recreates the wounds that Count Rugen gave him.
Mm-hmm. And when he stabs him in the like the sword kind of goes, you can almost feel it like, you know, and it's like, oh,
and the music too, because every time he's like, like there's a swell of the violin, like, and it's so good.
Oh yeah, the whole music soundtrack is amazing.
But it's a movie about true love. Wesley and the Princess Bride, Princess Buttercup end up together.
Yeah,
it's great because it's another one of those you can just cozy up to your family, your significant other, and just enjoy a great, uplifting, just makes you feel better about your life.
That's what's so cozy about this movie is the good guys are just so good. Like there's nothing like just nasty in this movie. There's nothing shocking.
There's nothing pragmatic.
It's funny. It's charming. It's sweet and innocent.
So from 1 cozy to 5 cozies, how many cozies would you cozy this?
I'm gonna give this one. I would say, man, because you can put this on repeat and just watch it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a 5. It's a full.
It's a full on 5 for me too. It's one of those movies, and we talked about it, where it's like I like movies where it's like the moment it's over, I can just say I want to watch it again.
Yeah,
and this is a movie that I can leave it on my TV on repeat all day long.
Yeah,
and have no issue with it.
You can watch this movie an infinite amount of times.
Yes.
It's just one of those. It's like watching The Office again.
And then Brando.
Yep.
For the most cozy movie of your list,
number 1 top cozy movie,
the coziest,
and this is why we had to stress that I made this list. You did not.
Yeah. We got like 6 minutes before we need to get to trivia.
So the number 1 cozy movie for this Jingle Simber Spectacular is The Grand Budapest Hotel from Wes Anderson, not Wes Craven.
All right.
So Owen messaged me today.
Yeah, today.
And he was like, can we do a different movie? I hate this movie.
Okay, so there's some context to this. So 1, there has never been a Wes Anderson film that I have enjoyed.
Yes.
2, I went into this movie not knowing until after I texted you that we could change it.
You didn't know it was Wes Anderson.
That is a Wes Anderson film. 3, my dumbass should have guessed in the first 2 minutes that's a Wes Anderson film.
You can tell right away. Man.
I got to, I want to say 20 minutes in before I turned it off. I was like, this is not worth my time.
You didn't like it. I adore this movie.
Yeah.
And so we have to explain what a Wes Anderson movie is.
It's a story within a story within a story, and it's about nothing.
Okay. It is a story within a story within a story, which is adorable. But Wes Anderson, the thing about him is the way he films his movies is everything is he shoots everything straight on, and everything is symmetrical.
Yes.
And flat wouldn't be the right word because it's not flat, but everything is just very symmetrical, very shot straight on. There's no like diagonal angles in any of his movies.
Yeah.
Like the way he
it's
sets
not like
up
a
the camera.
Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, the camera never moves, unless it's just going in one straight line from side to side or something or in and out.
And I do want to say this, I'm going to keep talking very bad about this movie, and I'm going to keep talking bad about every single Wes Anderson movie.
You got to get it out, man.
But here's my thing. This is not me saying he's a bad writer or director.
Yeah.
I actually think he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just his style does not work for me.
It doesn't, though. So with The Princess Bride, I'm like, there's just something just human about this. But this movie, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and all of his movies, I totally get it. Like, if it might not be your thing. Because that's another thing, too, is that the characters are not naturalistic. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
The way people speak, the way people act, even the way people physically move. They even move in very unnatural ways. They walk and run in unnatural ways. And it's cutesy, and it's almost like not robotic, but it's almost like that. It's almost like, and everything is nothing is naturalistic.
It's rigid.
Yes, very rigid.
Yeah.
In how they deliver their lines and how they move.
Brando, what, for my own edification as well, what is the Grand Budapest about?
Okay, so it is a story within a story within a story. So it starts off with the reporter who's telling the story about how he met the lobby boy, who's old at this point, and the lobby boy is telling him the story about when he was young, about him and the concierge of the Grand Budapest Hotel. And you have the concierge who was... You bastard.
Sorry, what?
Ralph Fiennes is the concierge, and the bully from Spider-Man is the lobby boy. And they are basically...
Wait, what?
Yeah. The bully from Spider-Man.
Oh, this is in the third story.
No, this is the lobby boy is the bully. He's like the main character, or one of the main characters.
No, because the first one, so it's a reporter, and then it goes into Jude Law and the porn shop owner of Parks and Rec.
Yes.
And then Jude Law takes a bath with this old guy.
Yeah. Well, no, but yes. And then the old guy is the lobby boy, and he's telling the story about when he was young.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And when he was young, the young lobby boy is the bully from Spider-Man.
I didn't make it that far.
And this is like the first 7 minutes of the movie. So the story is about...
Maybe I didn't make it 20 minutes in.
The concierge, they're like super serious about being a concierge of a hotel. And they take this so very serious. It's almost like they dedicate their lives, like they're monks or something, to like having this wonderful experience and everything being so professional and proper and elegant and nice. And the concierge, like he has sex with a lot of the guests. He sleeps with them, especially
Ralph
the old
Fiennes
ladies.
or...
Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes, okay.
And one of the guests, she dies, and she's very, very wealthy, and she leaves this painting to him. And so he and the lobby boy travel to go to her funeral to collect what he's owed or what he was been bequeathed. But her family is they're evil and rotten, and they're not happy about this. And so her son is Adrian Brody, I think it is. And then you had what's his name? Who's the killer guy? Adrian Brody's henchman was what's his name?
There's a killer guy?
Yes, he's the murderer. He's the guy who he's Adrian Brody's henchman. He plays Green Goblin in the old Spider-Man movie.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. And so they're trying to get this painting and get back to the hotel while trying to escape from the son and his henchmen. But they run through, I think it's World War II, like soldiers, and they get through these hijinks. They get arrested. He's in jail. They got to break him out of jail. He gets back to the hotel, and and that's kind of it. And then it ends, and the guy gets older, and he has the painting, and it's just it. There's a lot of rabbit holes though.
Okay,
that Wes Anderson goes
so
down,
Brando,
though.
To speed this along. No, honestly, so here's my thing, right? Before we get into like why it's cozy, is I don't know, like with Wes Anderson films, his cast in every single one of his films is absolutely insane.
All right. Some of the best actors
right?
ever.
So, Brando, if you came to me, he's like, hey, Owen, there's this new movie coming out. Ralph Fiennes is in it. Adrian Brody's in it. William Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Jude Law, Harvey Keitel, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, Jason Schwartzman, Owen Wilson.
The bully from Spider-Man.
Tony Revolori is the bully. Bully. That's him. I immediately went to the Sam Raimi.
Yeah,
I was like, huh?
The new Spider-Man.
The new Spider-Man movies, yeah. Tom Wilkinson. I'm like, dude, this cast is insane. What is this movie?
I know, right?
That alone, I'm like, let's go fucking see this movie.
Yeah.
And then you say it's a Wes Anderson film, like, no, never mind.
Well, then, and the lobby boy falls in love too. With...
All right, so yeah, Brandon, why is this movie cozy?
Okay, so that's part of it. So it takes place in winter. A lot of it's in winter, and even though it happens over time, a lot of it's like very snowy climates. The hotel itself is very cutesy. They have his little girlfriend who he marries. She works in a pastry shop. She's making these beautiful cupcakes. It's a bakery. It's snowy. It's a hotel, and everything is all the sets and all the set design is very cutesy. Even the prison that they're in, it's not like some grimy, gross place. Even that is kind of a cute set, you know, and everywhere you go, they're in a train. They spend a lot of time traveling in a train and all this stuff. It's just when you're watching the movie, you just get this really cozy vibe to it. All these sets are so beautiful and so colorful in just like really cutesy kind of ways. And the way everyone acts is so silly too. You know, they're just like, oh, you're such a silly person. And so there's that lack of any kind of grittiness or grime or anything in the world, even though they're dealing with like prison and war and murder. You know, you have these super dark topics, but they do it in a way that's kind of cutesy and funny. And it definitely doesn't appeal to everyone.
No, it doesn't. Honestly, so Brandon, when you had mentioned this movie to me, I thought it was the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Was that the movie? Because you said something about like an orgy.
I was like, man, like the Grand Budapest Hotel. I was like, I thought it was this movie with like a bunch of like famous actors. They were old and they go to this hotel and they just like fuck. And that's basically this movie, the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, which funny enough has an actor that's in both of them.
So what's that movie about?
British retirees travel to India to take up residence in what they believe is a newly restored hotel. Less luxurious than advertised, the Marigold Hotel nevertheless slowly begins to charm in unexpected ways.
I'm sorry.
Tom Wilkinson is in both of those movies.
I made the list and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And you're like, cool, let's do it. And it was, I think you were watching it, was it earlier today?
Yeah, it was today.
When you messaged me. And I was like, I mean, we can switch it out with a different movie, but, you know.
Dude, so like I said, obviously, like, at any moment, I didn't need to watch Princess Bride or Hook.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to go. Let's talk, right? This one, I was like, okay, like, I'm going to watch it the day of. Like, all right, so, like, I woke up, I put it on my phone. Like, I'm doing, like, my morning routine to get ready. Yeah. I'm watching it, you know, things like that. I didn't even make it to finishing my caffeine drink in the morning.
Okay, fair enough. Not everyone likes every movie. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
But what didn't you like about it? Like, what was it that you just didn't like?
Just Wes Anderson, which is funny because, like, I'm going to say I don't like his dialogue.
Okay, yeah.
But I love Quentin Tarantino as one of my favorite, and he's all about the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But it's different.
It is different. I can't quantify it.
Tarantino's got, like, a mouthy kind of rambling dialogue that's really smart and quick.
Yeah.
Whereas Wes Anderson, it's got like it's quick, but it's cutesy.
You know, the moment that I knew I wasn't going to like the film is when Jude Law goes up to the new bellhop and is talking with him, and he's narrating.
Yeah.
But in between their sentences, I was like, please stop. It just didn't work.
That's the thing. There's a fine line between, like, I mean, it's like music. There's a fine line between something that you really like and something that's really annoying.
And I'm okay with it. You know, like, people can look at a painting and be like, I don't like this painting. You go, why? It's like, I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't hit me. And Wes Anderson just doesn't hit me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying he's bad. I actually think he's phenomenally talented.
But he's known for, like, he's the kind of director that not everyone
likes. Yeah, but it's like, I didn't like the Life Aquatica.
Yeah.
Isle of Dogs, I think, is actually that movie. I will say, Wes Anderson that was terrible.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were gonna say you liked it. I was like, I don't like that.
No,
one.
that movie's terrible.
That one was weird.
I have never made it through a Wes Anderson.
And the
film.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, wasn't that him too?
Yeah, that was him.
That's weird. Also,
never seen
it's
that.
Got that weird claymation kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah.
His movies they get too surreal and kind of weird when they're in claymation. Like, but that's the thing when even with real life people and real life sets, it's so surreal and just weird and odd. Yeah. Everything is so odd, and he deals with, like, serious topics in a very odd way.
There's a serious topic I want to talk about, and that's trivia.
All right, baby.
But on a scale of 1 cozy to 5 cozies, how many cozies would you cozy this movie?
I give it a 5 cozies. I think it's adorable. I think this movie's just adorable.
-5 times infinity. So
cozies. That cancels each other out. So we have 0 cozies then. A black hole of cozies.
Yeah, it's a void. It's a vacuum void of coziness.
It's trivia time.
All right, last week, dude, those boys from Venture Forth, that was such a great episode.
They were so much fun.
I know that might not be everybody's cup of tea because we're talking about D&D, but it's like, you know, it was a great episode to just talk about character development and creation.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it too because I beat you.
You did actually.
Surprisingly, though,
wasn't it close?
It was close.
Right?
It was 4-5. Yeah. So people always like, man, like, Owen, you're so cocky. I'm joking. People, I'm not really this way. It's a joke.
You got it.
I mean, I am competitive, but
well, you're playing a character. This is your character on a podcast.
Yeah.
The real life Owen is very shy and quiet.
I wouldn't say shy.
All right,
or quiet.
I'm gonna spin this.
All right, Brando, go ahead. Give us a spin.
Yeah. Hot sauce again.
No, fucking. I'm taking that off after this week.
Okay,
spin it.
I'm gonna spin it again. We need to put some.
If it's Whitney Houston, I'm gonna be pissed.
A pirate.
Oh, all right, cool. Pirate.
That's appropriate for Hook. Yeah.
I like it. Top right corner, right. Brando. You can see the dreadlocks.
I know.
I'm looking forward to this. Once again, if you want to see any of this, you do have to go to our Instagram. A lot of people's like, why do you do this if it's a podcast? I'm like, yeah, go to the Instagram. Watch the videos. It's hilarious. We're somewhat Instagram famous now.
I also love the video that you just put up.
In a pirate.
I love the video you put up of the montage of me losing the wheel of garbage. And all of the times I had to do horrible, miserable shit.
Yeah, so without telling Brando, I want to post something today, and I found like all the videos of him spinning the wheel, and I edited them all together. And it's funny enough, it was that Lensa app that everyone's using. That's the AI technology app that you submit photos, and it like AI generates pictures of you.
Oh yeah,
I used that to edit the video, and it was great.
It was perfect. I came across as like, what is this?
I didn't text you anything.
Did it? But I was cracking up,
so
man.
good.
Oh man, that's funny. You gotta check us out online.
Brando, in your best pirate accent, give us the first trivia question.
This one be from Hook.
You just sound like Mr. Krabs right now.
All right, here we go. There are a lot of cameos in the movie Hook. Name one. A cameo, brief appearance by a famous actress. Or actor.
Jess and Alex left mini M&Ms in the studio, and I need a little sugar.
I feel like I'll give you a point for each one.
For each one? Okay. So George Lucas and Carrie Fisher are the couple making out that gets sprinkled with fairy dust when he's first going away to Neverland. Glenn Close is in it.
Yes, as who?
As the bearded pirate that gets locked up or something like that, right?
She's put in the scorpion box.
The scorpion box, thank you, yes.
Fucking hat.
Yeah. Are there more?
There's more.
Well, like, do you want to talk about like Dustin Hoffman's 3 kids?
That doesn't count.
Okay, that doesn't count. Okay.
They're nameless children. All right, the others are Gwyneth Paltrow as the young Wendy.
I thought that was her.
And the famous musician Phil Collins as a police detective.
Oh, that's right. That is Phil Collins.
When the kids are kidnapped.
I'm going to give myself 2 points because the George Lucas Carrie Fisher's together.
Okay.
And
I will accept that because that
helps you.
Yes.
All right. Captain Cook has a full name. What is it? In Hook.
And okay.
He has a full name.
The first one is James?
Yes, it is. James what?
Captain. Doesn't he have like 2 middle names?
No, it's just James Hook.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, I tried to turn it into a trick question. I'll give it to you.
Is it James T. Cook?
That's James. Well, he does. So he calls him James, and then later in the movie, when he's back in England, he says Jim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. My number 2 is also about Hook.
All right.
Well, okay, this one admittedly is going to be hard for you. It's kind of about Hook.
All right.
The directions to Neverland are second star to the right and straight on till morning. A major franchise has a movie that ends with that line. A major non-Peter Pan franchise.
It has to be Star Trek.
You son of a bitch! You don't even know Star Trek trivia, and you got that one right.
It's you. It has to be Star Trek.
Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, ends with Captain Kirk is
Captain James T. Hook.
James T. Hook.
Yeah.
He turns around, Chekhov turns around and he goes, "Where should we go?" Or he goes, "Coordinates, Captain." And he says that line, second star to the right, straight on to morning. And then the movie ends with the short narration. It's over. That's the very
which
end.
one was this?
Number 6, The Undiscovered Country. One of the best ones, actually. It's a really great movie.
Is that the one with the space whales?
No, that's 4.
Okay.
That's 4. Wow, you dummy. How embarrassing.
All right, here we go. This one's about Hook, kind of. One of our close friends, a regular of the show, and a podcast host on the network has a nickname from Hook. Who is that person and what is the nickname?
I know what it is.
Do you now?
I know what it is.
Go for it.
It's no.
Uh-oh.
No, I remember what the nickname is, but I'm trying to remember whose it was.
What's the nickname?
The nickname is Bangarang.
It is Bangarang.
Okay.
Now, which one of our friends has been a regular on Banter and Such?
I think it's Spencer.
It is Spencer!
Yay!
His Instagram tag is Bangarang.
Oh.
Yesterday, when I told him we were doing this movie, he got so sad. I'm like, dude, don't worry. We're going to do it again. It's going to have, more time. Yeah.
All right. Okay. This number 3 is about the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's my only question about this movie. But you should know this.
Okay.
You should know this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, hit me with it.
So the movie is about them going to the widow's funeral, and he gets bequeathed this special painting.
Okay.
Is
it a Star Trek painting?
The concierge and the lobby boy stole the painting Boy with Apple. Like, that's kind of their whole thing. They're stealing that painting, boy. They're in their mansion. They steal that painting.
Okay.
What kind of painting did they put in its place? When they stole Boy with Apple off and they found another one in the room and they put it back so no one would notice.
That's not 20 minutes into the movie.
Dude, it was like in the beginning. It's the first act.
What type of painting?
Yeah, you immediately know what it is. You can tell me what kind of painting it is. It's
Are you talking like oil, finger paint, stick drawing?
No,
like, say type.
Like what is the painting about? Like, what is the painting of that they put up on there?
It has to be Mona Lisa.
It's not Mona Lisa.
Okay. Is it the Starry Night?
It's two women having sex with each other. They're like fingering each other and stuff.
Yeah, I did not make it that far. I literally, the last scene is Ralph Fiennes or Ray Fiennes or whatever his name is, getting in a buggy to go to the funeral.
Oh, really? Oh, so you didn't even get to that part?
No.
Oh, jeez.
No,
Owen.
it's so bad. Okay, here we go. Another one kind of about Hook. Dante Basco, who plays Rufio, has gone on to voice one of my favorite cartoon characters.
Okay.
What cartoon character is that? Or even anime character?
Okay.
That's a hint.
I think I know.
Okay.
Is it Zuko from The Last Airbender?
It is Zuko from The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Dude, that voice, like every single time, I was like, oh yeah, that's Zuko. I'm like, I know that voice. It's
Zuko.
so good. We need to do a fucking Avatar episode.
Dude! Yes, we
let's
do, man.
We need to get Mike on for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this one is about the Princess Bride. All the rest of mine are about Princess Bride. I have like 6.
Okay. Yeah, I got a lot about
Princess
Princess.
Bride.
I got one more for Hook, but yeah.
Okay. In The Princess Bride, all of the characters speak with some kind of accent.
Okay.
Okay. Which 3 characters speak with an American accent? So you and I might, one of them in particular you might consider as like a non-accent, and 2 of them like have an accent, but it's an American accent.
Okay.
There are only 3 characters who speak with an American, like all the others speak with like a British accent or something else.
So
like that.
one of them has to be the torture dungeon master guy.
I'll give you 3 hints because there's 3 characters.
That's not one
so
of them?
So that's one that is not one.
Okay,
No,
okay.
he speaks with a British accent.
He does? Okay.
He does, yeah.
I just remember he's like, and then I thought he talks with an American accent.
Okay, can you name any 2 others? I'll give you
Oh, shit. American accent. I swear to motherfucker, if it's Columbo and Fred Savage.
Oh, well, not them. I
Okay.
mean, like in the story.
Okay, so it's not a trick
Yeah,
question. Oh, shit. So Inigo does have somewhat of a Spanish accent.
Yeah, he's got a Spanish accent.
Humperdinck and Count Rugen talk with a little bit of a British accent. Okay, so Vicini?
Vicini is one. Yeah.
Vicini is one.
The Sicilian, yeah.
The Sicilian, he does not. I was like, that's not an Italian accent.
It's just a normal American accent, yeah.
And then the last 2 is Billy Crystal and his wife.
That's it. That's
Yes!
all 3, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
All right.
it. But you only get 2 out of them.
I'm just gonna give myself 1 point.
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
give myself 1 point for that one.
Yeah. And theirs was more of like, he had this, I don't know what you would, like almost like a New York kind of
Yeah, it was
accent.
like New York, Boston.
Yeah.
All right. So this is my last question for Hook. Keeping with the Bangarang theme, that is actually a word in another language. What language is it from, and what is the meaning? And I'll give you a point for each.
Oh, it's like Caribbean or something. Is it like Jamaican?
Yes, it is Jamaican.
And doesn't it mean just like raucous or chaos or something?
Uproar or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
God, all right, cool. There it is. There's 2 points. All right.
I'm surprised I knew that.
It's 5-4. You're winning by 1 point.
All right. Okay, this is Princess Bride also.
All right.
When the Wesley, the Dread Pirate Roberts,
Mm-hmm.
sits down with the Sicilian and they drink poison,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the big exchange
Mm-hmm.
of which drink is poisoned. Where was the poison from?
Okay, so it's iocane powder.
Yeah, iocane powder. Yeah.
And the country of origin?
Yeah, he mentions it in the dialogue, and
that's a great question.
It's part of the dialogue.
That is such a great question.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it's not a real poison, actually. I looked.
Yeah,
it up.
no, it's yeah. I also looked that up too. Not for any particular reason. If the U.S. government is listening to this podcast, which I know you are, FBI and CIA.
I file it with my taxes.
It's yeah. There it is. Oh, man. Iocane has to come from the Middle East.
It's from Australia, which is populated only by criminals, which means I can't trust you, so it's not in my glass.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I feel so dumb. All right. In the famous fight scene between Wesley and Inigo Montoya, we talked about how it was almost them for the entire fight scene. There was only one time a stunt double had to come in for Carrie Ewells.
Okay.
What was that time?
Okay, now I'm playing that scene through in my head. Because you see them the whole time.
The whole time. There's only one time that a stunt double has to come in for Carrie Ewells.
I bet I know.
It's pretty easy.
Is it when he grabs onto that bar and he swings around and does a flip?
Gymnastic? Yeah, gymnast. Yeah, there it is. All right, 6-4, Brando. Look at you.
All right. Okay, this is Princess Bride also, of course. What is an MLT?
Mutton, lettuce, tomato.
Yes!
Where the tomatoes just get sliced just right, and the mutton's nice and fresh.
And apparently Billy Crystal as Miracle Max was like, he was ad-libbing all of these lines.
Yeah,
and
that entire scene from them is ad-libbed.
And so Carrie Ewells was like laying on the table and
trying to be dead.
He kept laughing, so they had to replace him with a dummy.
Yep.
Billy Crystal
I would also be dying of laughter if I was seen with Billy Crystal.
Dude, Billy Crystal's legit. I saw him like host. He hosted like the Oscars or Golden Globes.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He is so funny.
We should do a Billy Crystal episode.
We should. City Slickers is
City
great,
Slickers. Man. Oh yeah. All right. Christopher Guest, who played Count Rugen, is actually of nobility, and he has a title. What is that title?
What?
Yep.
Well, he's not like a...
He's called Count Rugen, which Count is a title of nobility.
Yeah.
In real life, he actually is of nobility. What is his title?
Is it like a duke or something?
You're close. I'll give you one more guess.
A lord?
It's a baron. He's a baron of Saline, Essex.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. All right. What do I got here? I have some more. I have several more.
Yeah, I
can keep going all day, baby. All right, Princess Bride, of course. Okay. Inigo Montoya mentions the skills that he, Fezzik, and Wesley have. What are those skills, and which one do they belong to? These are the skills they bring to the table, and I'll give you a hint. Wesley took the place of the Sicilian.
Yeah. So,
but each one.
Wesley's the mastermind. He's the planner, strategist.
The
mind?
I'll give that to you. Yeah. It says he's the brains.
He's the brains. There it is. Brains. Then Inigo is so Fezzik's the brawn. The strength.
Strength.
Yeah.
You bring with your brains, your strength and my
oh shit. What is Inigo's? Oh man.
I know, right? And he says it when they're planning and they're on the awning.
Yeah, they're on the
awning to break into the castle.
We had a Holocaust cloak.
Yeah, and he goes, what is the what of our assets? And he's like, well, your brains, his strength, and mine. You're gonna kick yourself.
Swordplay, swordsmanship.
That's right. It's his steel.
It's steel. Okay.
Right, yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right.
The brains, the strength, and steel.
All right. We're tied 6-6.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me along with that one. Okay. Originally, Andre the Giant was not Fezzik. It was an actual famous NBA basketball player.
Okay.
What player was it that was offered it but couldn't because of his NBA schedule? So it was a NBA player that was playing at the time.
Uh-huh. Oh, man. This is before Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes, it is. I'll give you that.
This is before Shaquille.
Because you've been helping me along. I'll be nice. I'll be cozy.
Is it, what's his name? Kareem Abdul
Jabbar.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you. Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. Was that the guy in the Bruce Lee movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. I actually got to meet him. Really nice guy. Really, really nice.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
When I was a kid, I was in Pennsylvania. I was flying back to LA, and he was on the same flight as me.
Yeah.
I think I've told this story before on podcasts. But anyways, I didn't know who he was. My mom's like, "Hey, that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar," and I was like, "Huh?" I was like third grade, right?
Yeah.
And he's already retired at this time, and I was like, my mom was like, "Oh, the famous Los Angeles player that did the hook. I was like, oh, okay, I know who you're talking about. Not really a sports guy.
Yeah.
But like, my mom's like, go ask for his autograph. I was like, okay. So I come up and I was like, hey, and this is before 9/11. So the family that we were staying with in Pennsylvania was also at the gate with us.
Oh, yeah. Back in
and
the
so
day.
my friend Tim walk up and Kareem goes, no, guys, sorry, I'm not going to do it. It's like, oh, that sucks. So go back to my mom, like, hey, he didn't want to do it. It's like, okay, sorry. You know, like, he's a human. He's on a flight.
Yeah.
My mom's being cool about it. I'm sad, even though I really don't care. He's
a famous person,
yeah.
though. Yeah.
So anyways, he gets on the plane, first class, and this also shows you is before 9/11. Gets off the plane. They allow people to get on and off the plane. And he has 2 signed limited edition cards. For me and my bud. Yeah.
Do you still have that?
No, I lost it.
Oh,
dude, this was like
man.
1997 or 8. I'm Blue was the theme song of that year.
Yeah.
That's how I remember that. So
I remember.
Right.
I bet if you had that, it'd be worth something. All right.
Probably.
Okay, here we go. I have 2 more. This is one of them. In The Princess Bride, what does ROUS stand for?
Rodents of unusual size.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
7-7 right now. Look at us.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
I only have one more.
Vicini.
Yeah.
Keep saying a word over and over again. Inconceivable.
Yeah.
And Fezzik goes, and Matoi's like, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Brando, what is the definition of inconceivable?
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
The actual definition.
The actual definition. If you get close, I'll give it to you.
Does it mean like something you can't even imagine?
Yeah, it's not capable of being imagined.
Oh,
that's why it's like.
Are you serious?
That's actually what it is. It's inconceivable. It's literally something you can't imagine. Like for us, it's like imagining what $1 bills. If we had $1 billion $1 bills, that is inconceivable. Like we cannot actually conceive how big that pile would be. We could guess about it, but none of us would be right.
All right. Here's my final one.
All right. I got a few more.
The Princess Bride. Finish this line.
Okay.
I do not envy the headache you will have when you awake. But for now, rest well and dream of
large women.
Yes. Oh, that's Wesley says that to Andre the Giant.
To Fezzik,
after he knocks him out. Oh man.
All right.
I love this movie.
Yeah, it's so good. So I did mention the never get into land war in Asia.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. I'm actually really surprised you knew that one. But we asked it before trivia, so you don't get a point for that one. But here it is. Here's my last question. Okay. Possibly. I got a few more if need be. 2 actors in Princess Bride have been in DC movies. Who and what did they play?
Robin Wright was one.
Yes.
She was in Wonder Woman.
Yes.
She was in Amazon.
Yes.
She was like one of the main warriors.
Do you remember the name? If you don't, I'll give it.
Antiope?
Yeah, Antiope. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect, yep.
Well, I got the name.
You even got the name.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the other one? Another one has been in a DC movie.
Yep.
Shoot, man. It's not Andre the Giant.
I'm giving you a point for each. So
okay.
So you got 1 so far.
Oh man, this is messing me up.
You're already gonna beat me. But
Billy
do you
Crystal
want? Do you want to? Really put the nail in the coffin.
Carrie Hewells is the only one I can think of who had been in a movie, but I don't know what he was. Was he some like government agent in a movie or something?
So this one part is. Do you want me to give you the answer?
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a trick question. It is Carrie Hewells.
Yeah,
and he was voice acted Aquaman in Flashpoint Paradox, the animated movie.
Voice acting.
Yep.
I thought for sure he'd been like some FBI agent or something.
I mean, that would make sense too, but yeah they were both. And Carrie Hewells was actually in a pilot in like 2011 for, I think, a Wonder Woman TV show. And he was.
Oh,
yeah.
I know what show you're talking about. That had, what's her name? Adrian Padalecki?
Yeah, Adriana Padalecki.
Yeah, something
Palecki.
She's in The Orville.
Oh, yeah, that's her. Yeah, she was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Dude, talking about that, we don't have time, but I started the new Superman, the Superman and Lois.
Yeah?
It's actually pretty good.
Yes, isn't it?
It's actually pretty good.
Isn't it
pretty
fun?
good. Talking about DC. Anyways,
I can't
Brando,
believe you say that.
you son of a bitch. You beat me today 9-8.
Uh-oh, guess who's going to be filmed next time? That's
And
you.
that means we're still tied at 48-48. We only have a few episodes left of this season.
Well, so this one was just me and you riding solo.
Yeah.
But we do have some really good guests coming up I'm really excited about. We've been connecting with some other shows and stuff.
Dude, yes.
We are getting some really good guests. We've had some good guests. We've been so fortunate to have some of the
Yeah,
best.
it's just like, we're just fantastic.
Yes.
Look at us getting guests on from other podcasts.
Putting on my
growing
aviators.
our network. Getting more views.
But it's been awesome. I love doing this. But definitely check us out online. I will say, you can find us on Instagram, and we have all these videos and stuff we post. We just started a Twitter also.
Yes.
Just because I was messing around with it, all the hubbub of Twitter that's been going on recently, I was like, you know what? I've never really tried it out, and I tried it, and I was like, this is kind of cool. We can share our stuff, but now we got some followers on there.
Yeah.
And we're posting our stuff, and I'm actually tweeting a lot.
Yeah,
on there too.
and on Instagram too, we have a reel that has like 30,000 views now.
I can't believe that.
I don't understand it.
I kept getting notifications on my phone. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell is happening, man?
I don't know.
We got
but
over
let's go.
3,000 likes.
I had to mute the like button.
Yeah.
I was like, because I'd be like in the middle of the night, you'd be like beep 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 beep
Yeah.
beep.
We're influencers now.
Yeah.
I'm
Pay
like,
us.
I'm
Instagram
basically
pay
Kim
us.
Kardashian, basically. I mean, that's me. I'm Brando.
No Kardashian. Jacobs.
I'm going to divorce Kanye.
They're already divorced.
Oh, we should all divorce him.
Oh, God. Trust me, it's bad. It is bad. Anyways, where are we at in this outro, Brando?
I don't know. Remember to
Make sure to check us out, heliosnetwork.com. And also check out Ricky Jab and Callie Rohde, who wrote the fantastic cover song of Jingle Bell Rock. Their Instagram will be in the show notes as well.
And we're proud members of the Helios Network, a collection of great podcasts made by regular people.
Tomorrow, if you're listening to this today, this podcast come out, like I said,
Yes.
All Be Careful, You'll Be Dead will officially be out. It is our Star Wars podcast.
It's good.
It has Chris Minnie, who you've heard his voice before.
Oh, yeah.
AKA Tim White, what I always call him. And it has Xavier Thompson,
Yeah.
who was the first sponsor of the Helios Network and was on the, the Book of Boba Fett episode?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. So I love you all, and thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Banter and Such.
Next week, we are continuing with Jingle Silver Spectacular.
Jingle Silver Spectacular!
How much more grinchy can I get?
I know. right?
And we're going to be talking about like the feel-good movies.
Uplifting, feel-good movies.
Things that just make you want to be a better person. And we have another Grinch, more than likely. I have a feeling he's a huge Grinch coming on. It's Chris Sears.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm Brando.
And I'm the Grinch.
And until next time, may your week be filled with Christmas cheer.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. Mixing a mingle to a jingling beat. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell